Hello YouTube, this is Alexis, the Transgender Duelist, and today I'm going to be giving you my Bicorn Mill deck. So before I actually go ahead and start, I want to actually give a little bit of a backstory as to this deck, because this is a deck that is very close to me personally. See, when I was a child, like around when the 5D Star Accelerator games came out, I forget when that was, Bicorn Mill was actually what I would consider my main deck at the time. Like, I was a troll. I used a lot of mill decks, burn decks, and all sorts of stuff. Like, I used Iron Chain Mill, I used Bicorn Mill, I used Empty Jar, I used Iron Chain Burn. Point is, I used a lot of stupid stuff. And actually, on the rated section, on Wi-Fi, I actually went ahead and used Bicorn Mill. And I wasn't able to beat the meta consistently, obviously, but I did end up getting around 1300-ish, which is not bad considering that unlike DN's rating system or Dueling Book's rating system, if you lose a game, you go all the way back to the bottom of the ladder, so do keep that in mind. You had to be consistently winning the games. If you lost like 3 in a row, you went right back to the bottom. Anyway, I want to thank my friend Feburay for this deck, as without their help, I would have never been able to get this deck up and running again. So if you see Feburay, please tell them a big thanks if you enjoy this deck profile. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So first off, we're running Triple Dark Destar Pit. So this card is a really old Beast Warrior not Beast Warrior. If it was Beast Warrior, this deck could have Zodiacs in it. It's a beast monster with the effect that when it's removed from play, doesn't matter how it's removed from play, you get to special summon a level 4 or lower beast monster from your grave. And I want to keep in mind that this does not negate the effect, does not restrict you in any way, it just requires Dark Destar Pit to get banished, which leads to a lot of insane combos, which I didn't even think about at the time when I was trying to rebuild this. So I'll go ahead and quickly explain all the synergy this has with the deck, as this is going to be a pretty long deck profile again. First off, if you use Gold Sark, you get to banish it out, and then you get to special summon a beast from your graveyard. For example, say Mind Mole, Rescue Cat, Bambi, whatever you feel like summoning out. There's not really a lot of restrictions. Like, you can even summon this thing if you wanted to, which allows you to just get another free monster on the field, which is really good for going into your extra deck down here. Additionally, if you use it with Madolche Hoot Cake while you have a level 1 tuner in the graveyard, it's a guaranteed Bicorn, as you can banish out, you can Madolche Hoot Cake, banish out Dark Destar Pit, special summon a level 3 Madolche, and then special summon out a level 1 tuner from your graveyard. So a lot of really nice stuff you can do with this card, and you can even use it to just revive Rescue Cat, and Rescue Cat can go ahead and revive a Mind Mole and whatever else, and you can go into a Nat Beast or a lot of stuff, really. Actually, I really should think about running like a Speedroid, level 5 Speedroid Synchro or something. I don't know. I'm still testing the deck out, but for the most part, I haven't really had too many games where I question my extra deck. Just a few games where I couldn't get my combos going. Anyway, running one of the little bunny rabbit. It's just here for spot removal when necessary. Not really a lot to say there. One key mouse. So this card has two little bits of synergy. First off, can retrieve stuff from the graveyard. You never really do it, but it can do it. But more importantly, it's a level 1 beast tuner monster. Not really going to explain much about it, but you run it because Dark Destar Pit can revive it, and it's the easiest way to go into Nat Beast and Bicorn. So, yeah. Running one Madolche, whatever the heck this thing's name is called, triple Madolche Hoot Cake, and one Madolche Mew, or whatever it's called. This is like a little Madolche engine. They all basically are just here so the Hoot Cake can banish this Tar Pit, which will allow us to revive a level 1 tuner or whatever we necessarily need at that particular moment. Not really here for anything else. You could run rank 3s in here, like say Leviar the Sea Dragon, but I found that you really don't want to. Like, maybe there's a few times you do, but majority of the time you don't really want to. Though, if you do want to run a Leviar, run it over the Fabled Unicorn, as this is a very situational card. One Maxi, not really going to explain that. Double Mind Mole, like the only card anybody saw when I was dueling Mega Capital G last night. Basically, Mind Mole is here so that you can recur advantage when you perform a Synchro summon. Normally, if you do use Mind Mole, it's a +2 because you're going to get the monster, you're going to get the Death Tar Pit's effect, and you're going to be able to mill your opponent's deck. Okay, maybe not +2, but you get the point. Also, it can't be destroyed by battle once per turn. Not normally relevant, but it's nice to know that. One Rescue Cat. This card is extremely abusable in this deck, as everything in your deck is a target, except for the Maxi, but why on earth would you want to revive Maxi? Yeah, just got a million different ways to abuse it. You got Dark Death Tar Pit, you got Azar's Rock Sunshine, you got Back to the Front. You have a lot of ways to revive Rescue Cat. I wish this thing was at 2, but I suppose if it was at 2, it might actually see a little bit of use, so who knows. One of the Fabled Sherber. This is just here to go into the Fabled Unicorn. It's also nice because it's a level 2 Beast Tuner. Not really a lot to say there. You could drop it if you wanted to. Double Mystical Beast of the Forest. So because 99% of our extra deck and our entire main deck except for Maxi is a beast monster, this card will most often be live and allow us to revive our Bicorn or our Nat Beast or whatever we really want to. It's basically just an archetypal reborn. It's also a level 1 non-tuner, which can be pretty nice at times. Like, I've had a few cases where I had to tune him, you, and one of my Madolches into Naturia Beast, but outside of that, there's not really a lot to say about it. Triple Bambi. Bambi's here because you can discard a card and special summon out a fluffer of your monsters, mostly just a Fable Service, this thing, Key Mouse, and Yoka Tuner, but still, the ability to get another monster on the field is pretty good. It could be used to Exceed Summon into number 64. I was running 2 of it, but I decided to drop it down to 1 because the opportunity to make 2 just never comes up in testing with the new Master Rule change, so I didn't feel like doing it. Running 1 X-Saber Arabellum just here as a Beast Tuner that's level 3. Honestly, I would run any other Beast Tuner level 3. It doesn't even matter, but there aren't really a whole lot of them. Like, here, I'll show you. I think like he's the only one, actually. I can't remember. Beast and Tuner. There we go for level 3. Okay, yeah, he's the only level 3 Beast Tuner in the entire game, so you kind of have to run him. But if we ever do get another Beast Tuner, please feel free to put him over this. And then 1 Yokai Tuner because it gives us another monster, and it's a level 1 Beast Tuner. Not really a lot to say there. So, Triple Azure Rock Sunshine. This is here to revive our Bicorn, Nat Beast, Rescue Cat, Madolche Who Cake, Bambi, whatever you really feel like. You can even revive Mrs. Radiant if you really want to. Its predominant use is just that, but it also has a nice secondary ability to weaken monsters equal to the amount of Beast in the Grave times 200, which after 1 or 2 Bicorns, you're going to have so many in the grave that your opponent's monsters are actually going to be hitting 0. So, Triple Cattle Call. I'm a little bit indifferent about this card, to be honest. Like, the only card you can actually summon in it is Naturia Beast, but it's still a pretty nice little thing, and it's also the reason why we run Triple Naturia Beast. Since we can turn Bambi into a Bicorn. That's kind of the entire purpose of it. Foolish Burial, because we have so much graveyard utility that having this card is never bad. Gold Sark, the trigger Dark Dust Heart Pit, not really a lot to say. Triple Obedience School. This is here because using any 2 of your Beast non-tuner monsters plus Key Mouse nets you a Naturia Beast, and if you happen to have a what was it? Oh yeah, if you happen to have any way to get a Bambi with its effect on the field, you can even end up with a Mrs. Radiant plus a Naturia Beast, so it's pretty good. Especially since at that point they can't just summon out a monster, boost in, and run over the Naturia Beast. Actually, I can't say never. They did have somebody do that to me in testing. Admittedly, it was True Draco, but my point remains the same. They did manage to run over the Naturia Beast in battle, so it is possible, just very rare. One for one because we have a few different targets, and I like the utility of being able to fetch them at will. One Shuffle Reborn, this is because it goes to the graveyard, shuffle a card back to draw a card, and it can also banish Dark Destar Pit to get back a monster during the end phase. Not really a relevant use of it, but it does something I do. Additionally, if you don't have any monsters, you can use it to revive a combo piece, and then summon out another monster and go for a Mrs. Radiant, a Synchro summon, or just use them to attack your opponent. There's a lot of good little things you can do there. I only run one of it because at 2 you don't really do anything with it, and at 1 you see it just often enough that it becomes relevant. And then back to the front because everything but the Mrs. Radiance can be revived, and you want to get Bicorn killed as many times as possible in order to win the game. So for the extra deck, we're running one Armades. Not really going to explain that one. One Tiger King of the Ice Barriers. I'm not going to lie, I have no idea why this is in here, but February put it in, and I just haven't taken it out yet. Also, I don't even think we can summon the thing, so yeah. One Goyo Guardian, because everything in our deck is Earth except for a very select few monsters, which means that we can still use Goyo Guardian, and in my opinion, if you can use Goyo Guardian, there's no reason for you not to use Goyo Guardian. One Leo, Keeper of the Sacred Trees, in case we need that extra power. Lightning Tricorn, because if it dies, we can revive our Bicorn. Additionally, it's got 2,800 attack points, so it can be used as a beater if necessary. You could turn this into a Scar Red Dragon Archfiend if you wanted to. Either one is acceptable. Triple Nap Beast, you really only need one, but we're running triple because of Cattle Call, and because we can Synchro summon into it multiple times very easily. One Fabled Unicorn, this is in here to be a cute little tech that you can use to lock down your opponent. Sadly, we don't really have enough aspects of Fabled Unicorn control to actually make it Fabled Unicorn reliable, but it's still a pretty nice little tech. Plus, if your opponent and you have 0 cards in your hand, you Synchro summon this thing, and they literally can't do anything. They either attack over it, or they activate the spell or trap card. A spell card or a monster in their hand, and they literally can't resolve it, so no matter what, they're going to have a little bit of a bad time there. Triple Voltic Bicorn, this is the card that makes the deck. When it's destroyed by battle or card effects, then the top 7 cards of the deck to the graveyard. And with people running triple Pot of Desires or double Pot of Desires and like a million search cards in today's metagame, it is extremely easy to actually resolve Voltic Bicorn's win condition. Since after a Pot of Desires, let's go ahead and use True Draco because that's the only one of the 3 meta decks that we have a chance against. They go ahead and do their standard plus, I think it's like a +3 combo with everything. And after that, they go Pot of Desire. So they're now out 16 cards in their deck. So that means that they're down to, 19 cards in their deck. You activate Voltic Bicorn, they're down to 12 cards in their deck. And now they can't really do a whole lot against you, especially if you mill their masterpieces or anything, because if you mill those, they're not really easily going to be getting them back, because normally people use the True Draco spell that lets you shuffle stuff back as a tribute fodder and only keep one of it around just to win in the grind game. Like, good players don't, but a lot of people do. Anyway, let's finish up the deck profile. One number 64, because it happens to be a pretty nice little XC monster. You could easily drop it or bump it to 2, but I recommend you always keep it in your deck. Also, the token is Earth, so if you wanted to, you could use it to run over a problematic monster or attack for some damage, and then go into Mrs. Radiant. So it's still pretty good just for that. Oh, and 2 Mrs. Radiant, just because everything in your deck is Earth, and it's very easy to end up with this card on the field, and when it dies, you can get back things like Maxi, Rescue Cat, Bambi, or any other card you would want. Anyway, everyone, this has been Alexis, the Transgender Duelist, and I am signing out.